Hey guys, another Wednesday, another bucket load of comics. Just got back from the shop. Work day's over, and I actually have comics from last week still to read. But I had a little bit of time at the shop, so I dug into their dollar bins again. But let me show you the regular books I picked up. I got Batman Arkham Knight. I haven't read the last Batman Arkham Knight. I think I've got too much Batman, and Batman Arkham Knight is particularly dense, and it's harder to read things when you don't have a sense of where they're going, and I guess I started to feel that with Batman Arkham Knight. I liked individual bits of it, but the whole of it I haven't been able to absorb properly. So maybe if I read 2 issues in a row, that'll help me. And they are longer issues, 30 pages, and pretty dense. 30 pages at that. And Batman and Robin Eternal. I'm not sure what to think because it's by 2 authors I've never heard of. And as far as I know, the only comics they've ever written before are 2 issues of Hacktivist, whatever that is. Really psyched for another issue of Black Science. I liked the beginning of this new arc a lot last month. It was like just a few weeks ago. So, and another really nice cover. I think the new colorist on this is finally growing on me. Speaking of great colorists, Paper Girls, more great coloring from Matthew Wilson. I think at this point, if I saw a book with Matthew Wilson coloring, I'd feel like I need to give it a try, even if I didn't know much else about it. Although he colors Wicked and Divine, and I'm not reading that anymore. But I'll probably get that in trade someday. And then kind of least exciting to me of what was on my pull is Plutona. I like it, but I don't love it as much as I feel like I could have. And then I picked up 2 kind of odd small press books, a little out of my usual preferred price range, but I couldn't resist. Bigfoot, Sword of the Earthman. Myth on Earth, Legend on Mars. I should have probably pulled it out of its plastic bag and checked out what it actually looks like inside. I've had some luck with Action Lab with some kids' comics I've read with my daughter. I don't know if this is a kids' comic. It might be. Probably not a kids' comic. I don't know anything about it, but it was Black Mask. And I think I've liked every Black Mask comic I've managed to get a hold of, which is not always easy. For instance, I never did find Young Terrorists, which they're advertising. What issue? It doesn't even say what issue of Young Terrorists they're advertising on the back here. But anyway, I don't know what X'd is about. I haven't seen any previews about it. I think Black Mask has 2 flaws because they have very high quality, slightly radical work. One is they're very bad at getting out the word on when their comics are coming out, and they don't keep a very regular schedule. So when you combine those 2 things, you don't know if the comic that you've already been reading has had any more issues come out because there's no publicity on it. So that's unfortunate. I guess I need, even if you go to the Black Mask website, it's more like a Tumblr or something, and it doesn't have very much information on it. A lot of stuff is not updated. Then I went into the regular back issue bins, which there are a lot of at Excalibur Comics. That's one of the good things about them. They have a lot of back issues. But they did not have all the Sandman Overture back issues I wanted. So I got number 2 and number 3. And some of the others they had in the deluxe or the special edition, but I think that's in black and white or something, and I'm just not wanting that at this point. I want the color ones. So I now have 3 out of the 6 issues. So issue 1 might be a little hard to find, and then I need 4 and 5. But I'm sure I'll find them all with so many shops around me. And then I was digging around in the $1 boxes, the overstock mostly. Overstock plus a whole bunch of junk, which I'd love to spend. You'd have to spend even more time digging around in it. A bunch of junk from the 80s and 90s that no one wants anymore. But But I found Midnighter #3, and this is such a cool cover. I read numbers 1 and 2 and decided to drop it, but with this cool cover, and I already know the story, I thought it might be fun to read 3. And then this was a comic I was curious about, but not quite curious enough to pull the trigger on it when it came out. I have a feeling maybe it's already died. It didn't get much buzz behind it. It's a Joe Casey comic, Joe Casey and Paul Mayberry's Valhalla Mad, which is about kind of Marvel-ish Asgardian-type gods, but with other names, come down to Earth for a party, I believe. And this is, and I got Valhalla Mad issue #2 also. So if I love these issues and it's still going, I suppose I could pick up on it. And then there's this comic that I think is called Atom.3. Yeah, someone told me that is the real name of it, but it also seems to be called Seeds. It's very hard to read the Atom.3. I have issue 1. I didn't love it, but I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of this landscape comic. So when I saw issue 2 in the cheap bins, I went ahead and grabbed it. And I picked up Secret Identities #3. I have 1 and 2. I think I bought 1 off of the stands. I got 2 out of the bins. Now I got 3 out of the bins. Let's see if I can get the whole run of Secret Identities out of the bins. Did I actually already buy the trade? Now I'm not sure. I got this one-shot. The name sounds familiar, so maybe I've heard someone talk about it. A one-shot from Dark Horse Comics, Jack Kraken. I wonder if that means it's a series of, like it was something serialized in Dark Horse Presents, perhaps? Just guessing. But again, for $1, Dark Horse seemed worth checking out. And I probably will want to get all of these. Justice League Gods and Monsters, issue 2 happened to be in the bin, so I grabbed that. I also got another short box. I seem to buy a short box a week at this point. You've seen from some of my other videos, if you watch them all, that I have been picking up tons of comics, so I need more and more boxes. I'm going to start trying to thin out my collection of more modern comics. I don't know if I can sell them for anything on eBay, but I might try that, or I might just give some away. I have a terrible track record of giving everything away, but I used to try to give people my very best comics to make them love comics, and at the moment I don't really want to do that. So anyway, today I read a little bit of The First Kingdom in hardback, inspired by a video by Terrence, comicKkrakK, and I wish I had the individual issues because they don't feature the covers in here. This is like the densest read you ever saw. It probably takes me as long to read 1 page in this as it would take me to read like 10 pages in a normal comic. And I think that what Jack Katz had in mind when he was drawing it was a page in a Sunday comic strip. You know, those like a Flash Gordon or a Prince Valiant. And so it's like Prince Valiant, but even more dense and biblical and crazy. And it's kind of like outsider art in a way. There's so many tiny panels. It's just incredible. And it's just, the outsider art part particularly applies to the writing style, which maybe is like akin, but probably not as good as some of the writers in the Bible, some of the early writers, Old Testament writers in the Bible, maybe like Gilgamesh and that sort of thing, but not as good as those things, I think. Maybe the writing will get better as it goes along. The art, though, is incredible. I am mesmerized by the art in here, and I will keep reading. And I hope maybe to sit down with comicKkrakK and trade thoughts about it, although he's already done a very thorough job of that in his videos. When I get a chance, I'll link to his video down here. So I hope you're all having a great comic book week. I'm probably going to continue to flood the feed with pretty frequent videos for now. Probably will slow way down when I get close to Christmas time, but we'll see. Talk to you all later.